I knew you'd never agree, and there wasn't enough time.
I legitimately, for a minute, thought she was just going to shove him back in the river.
I am Noxiddar!
Hey everyone, how's it going? Noxiddar here, and welcome to our next reaction in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, episode 5. We last left off in a really interesting position. Percy is breathing underwater after falling out of the top of the St. Louis Arch and being rescued by, I'm supposing his father, a big water funnel, that's for sure. And yeah, I'm really curious to see where the story takes us next. So without any further ado, let's get right to our reaction. Yo, a helicopter up ahead? Oh, naturally, yeah, because it looks like there was an attack on U.S. soil.
They're looking at us. So we should
Oh,
get out of here, don't you
the
think?
fates?
Dude, they're looking right at us.
Wait, I didn't think that was good when they snipped it, though. It really makes me wonder, like, what is the narrative spin that people are going to put on this? Maybe we'll find out later in the episode, but did they just say that there was like a structural failure in something that was architecturally designed to be perfect? Are they going to chalk it up to some kind of technical fault, or even just act of sabotage? Or they don't know? Isn't it interesting that like everybody else here is really concerned about the fate of Percy Jackson? I mean, I know he's breathing underwater. He's just chilling. But like me, I'm wondering what the ramifications are in our mortal world for something like this, you know, where we have the easy explanation of, oh yeah, well, we were just dueling with echidna and a chimera, but nobody else has the luxury of being able to see through the mist to verify that for themselves. So I just gotta wonder, like, yeah, people would be so confused right now. Crazy. Yeah, see, he's fine. Had it the whole time.
Hi. I knew you'd never agree, and there wasn't enough time.
I legitimately, for a minute, thought she was just going to shove him back in the river.
You're not as dead as we thought you'd be.
Hey, Grover. Ever the spirit of optimism.
We need to go to Santa Monica.
What, like now? Okay. Just one problem with this plan. The police think that we crashed an Amtrak train and then did that.
Isn't that gonna make it hard for us to get on a train? Or a bus? Or really anything you need tickets for?
Yes. Yes, Percy, it will. No one's saying it, but I will.
I think this quest might be harder than we thought.
Understatement of the year.
I didn't steal the Master Bolt. You guys didn't steal the Master Bolt. We're pretty sure Hades has the Master Bolt, but we don't even know who actually stole the thing. Or why. Or how deep this goes. Maybe when we started, my head wasn't fully in this, but since the river, it all feels different somehow. He saved me. My dad. I guess I just really never thought that's something he'd do for me. So maybe I gotta take things more seriously now.
Man, how good must that feel to just harbor such animosity and just like so much anger for a father who has never acknowledged you, who is still spoken about so highly by your mother, and to just kind of like have all of these mix of emotions and to finally have that moment of acknowledgement, of not only just acknowledgement, of wanting to be part of your life, of welcoming you into the fold, of wanting to come out from the shadows, or the proverbial shadows as it were, to actually help create a solution. I didn't know where I was going with that for a second. Man, that has to feel so good. So I get how he's feeling. And again, I just love how this show, even though we're dealing with like divine, mythological, fantastical, like set pieces, there is still an element of humanity all the way through it. And I think that's what makes great fantasy. And I also think that's just, in general, what makes great storytelling.
Car.
That's not a car, it's a bike.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Come on.
Not a car, Grover.
Back at the arch, I saw the 3 fates, and I saw Atropus cut a piece of thread.
And that's bad or
Yeah.
Fates weave the life strand of every living thing. When you see a string cut,
It means one of us is going to die.
We're all gonna die,
Dude,
actually.
Soon. It's a warning.
I really like Percy's optimism here. Like, actually, is that even optimism? It's a bit macabre, but yeah, we're all gonna die. Like, dude, just... So I love that he's underplaying it. Now, granted, you know, there is a level of ignorance attached to it that Rover and Annabeth don't have. I want to have that attitude. If I'm going on a quest and everybody's basically like, yeah, one of us isn't making it out of it. It's like, we're all gonna die. Don't worry. Love it.
I can choose to do anything I want.
Need some help?
Oh, great. Yo, cool duster, though.
I asked if you could use some help.
no, we're good. Appreciate you asking, though. So long.
You don't seem too good.
No kidding.
We don't want anything from you.
You sure? Because you guys are so behind schedule. I mean, summer solstice is just a few days away, and as much as I'd love to see a good war pop off, as your big cousin, I feel like maybe I want to give you a hand.
How do you even know about what we're doing out here?
Because I'm doing exactly the same thing as you. Zeus sent all of his kids out looking for the Master Bolt, too. There's a halfway decent diner up the road. If you want my help, you'll meet me there, but don't dawdle.
Yo, I like Ares. I like that attitude.
What kind of family is this?
Percy, it's the kind of family that gets things done, and that is a god that gets it done, I think. I don't know. You'll have to tell me, those of you that are better versed in Greek mythology. I always liked him in Hercules, although he was kind of a jerk, but in the best way. Is he checking that god social media we were talking about?
Give me a second. I'm just starting to fight on Twitter here.
I knew it.
He was always troubled, but I never thought he was capable of something like this. A kid that messed up, what wouldn't he do?
What?
Oh,
Right.
gosh.
The FBI is already spreading your picture around.
We really love that car. So much.
Yeah, I love this guy.
It's safe to say the chances of you three idiots hitchhiking the rest of the way to LA without getting arrested are slim to none. Doesn't matter. Whether the bolt's retrieved or not, Zeus is going to war with Poseidon.
The Oracle said if we returned the bolt, there wouldn't be a war.
Is that what she said? Or is that what Chiron said she meant?
Ooh.
You're new to the family, young one, so let me fill you in on how we work. We will push anyone down a flight of stairs to get ahead. And that's why I love my family so much.
I love this guy.
I think he feels it's just time for a war, so we're gonna have a war. Isn't that great?
That is amazing. One of the things that I always look for in performances is how expressive a character can be. So like, it's easy to convey your lines, to say your lines. But I think one of the hallmarks of like just really strong performances actually comes from the eyes and not the mouth. Anybody can recite their lines. It's quite another thing to act with your eyes. And when you include the entire face inside of it, like, you know, one of the more obvious things you can point to is like how expressive like a Jim Carrey is. To have the entire just demeanor, the entire, like your entire countenance just put into a performance, it sells it for me in a way that, you know, no other like kind of acting really can. And this guy gets it. Like, I don't know. I'll have to look back in the editing, but I feel like I'm just kind of like nodding along with him. And this is something that like my father would always do. When I was growing up, I would always like kind of watch my father's reactions. I guess I've really been watching reactions for a long time. Every time there was like a really serious kind of moment and people were really getting into the acting, I'd always look over at my father watching the movie and I'd always see his expressions kind of like matching the intensity of what's going on the screen. And I don't know if I myself did that, but I felt like I was, at least in my own mind. So I just wanted to stop and like highlight just a brilliant performance right there. Just the performances I've seen so far on the show have been so well done. Just my hat's off to it. Let's go ahead and continue.
There's an amusement park up the road. I left my shield there. You get me my shield back, and I'll get you to the underworld by lunch tomorrow with a plan to invade Hades' palace. We have a deal, or am I killing all three of you so I can eat in peace?
If he wanted to kill us, we'd be dead by now.
True. Why does Ares remind me of someone that I know? He seems really, really familiar, almost like a wrestler. Edge, of course. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, I was just about to comment how I felt like he had this kind of like intensity where almost it wasn't like intense in like an aura way. It was like intense in like a show with like a showmanship kind of way, almost like the way, you know, like a wrestler goes out and hypes up their match for the night or something like that. And the way he kind of like gets into it and then pulls back and then gets into it. So of course, Edge, oh my gosh, man, I remember growing up with all those guys. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Christian, we got Chris Jericho, oh my gosh, Mankind. Oh wow, that is unexpected. Man, he makes a good Ares, doesn't he? What the heck?
I haven't seen a lot of horror movies, but this seems like exactly the kind of place they suggest to avoid.
No doubt. I think I played this in a zombie game.
Wait, Percy, stop.
Okay, what just happened?
Just
What kind
hold still.
of freak show is this?
Safe to say this is not just some amusement park.
Maybe the first movie they should watch is Saw.
Weren't you the one this morning who saw the fates say one of us is gonna die and we should take it really seriously?
Percy,
Yeah?
just push.
I mean, he's got a point, right?
Satyrs worship flowers. Satyrs sing songs about their feelings. Satyrs are not fans of mine.
Nature is brutal. Red in tooth and claw, right? You are the champion. All of that. I respect it.
Smooth.
World War II buff? You've seen Saving Private Ryan, have you?
I prefer the Turbot War. The Lobster War. The 335 Years War.
Those are wars where hardly anyone died.
I like your mellower stuff.
Well played, Grover. Right for the jugular. Big ol' softy. I knew it the whole time.
And why'd he split without his shield?
If I'm guessing, Ares has always had a thing with
Aphrodite. He met her here? In her husband's park? That's so wrong.
They got caught, and he had to leave in a hurry. This must be where Ares and Aphrodite got caught. The shield must be in there.
Yeah, just go in the love tunnel.
Sure. Let's go check out the scary ghost ride.
This almost has like a BioShock vibe to it. I like it. Very Americana horror.
What is love?
Oh.
I feel like I've heard this before.
Hey, you from out of town? Oh my gosh. No way I can keep this in for the YouTube video. Nope.
She said this is what the gods are like to each other. This is the kind of family they are. She was trying to keep me away from you guys. Maybe she should have been preparing me better.
That didn't seem like a very loving ride. Nope. This would be pretty awesome though, I'm not gonna lie.
There it is. Ares' shield. Jump!
It's okay, Percy can breathe underwater. This is great. I thought you were trying to reach her, not push her away.
Did you just pull me out of there with that water power stuff?
Oh, pull. Good.
It's a machine, but how do you start the machine?
Not everything is a puzzle that needs to be solved. You're as bad as my sister.
Was she always like that?
Who?
Your sister. Always making things more complicated than they need to be so people will think she's smarter than you.
Thank you. I can't be the only one who sees it, right?
No, not at all.
It certainly feels that way sometimes. What did you mean by that?
What?
Feeling the thief. We both know your friend didn't steal the bolt.
Yeah. But Zeus thinks he did. Which is kind of all that matters, right?
Shut up.
I like how Ares really thought he was in the position of power here over Grover, but Grover knew exactly what knobs to twist to give him that cathartic release. Man, that's so funny. That's so good. Is it like that in the book as well? It's funny thinking back to, I believe, the episode with Medusa, and I asked the question, is Grover good at his job? But I'm not gonna lie. His great strength with empathy and the ability to kind of, well, I guess that would be his empathic ability to kind of read the temperature of a room, to read people. It's really cool to see it in this story as well, because that is actually one of the hallmarks of One Piece. If you yourself have never checked out the One Piece story, the main character, in addition to being like a rubbery figure, has like a great source of empathy, and he just kind of inherently seems to know what people are thinking when they're hiding, when they're holding back. And so to actually see that in Grover's character gives me so much respect for him, to see it like on really prominent display, where he can even bring a god, and bring their attention down to him to help them and provide like I said, that kind of cathartic release. That's so fun to watch. You wouldn't think of it, but it really was kind of like a battle right there. And to further use that to glean some information on the thief of the Master Bolt. I'm really impressed with Grover this episode. I'm also really impressed with Aries' performance. Man, this is such a cool episode. It's such a cool story. Oh my goodness.
The chair is the bargain. One of us goes in, the other gets the shield.
I'll do it.
What? Wait a minute.
Whoever goes in isn't coming out.
When I was choosing my team, I told Chiron I needed someone who wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice me if the quest required it.
That's true.
That was you. I need you to promise me something.
I'm not leaving the underworld without your mom.
Thank you. I was gonna say, when this quest is done, can you maybe swing back here and try to get me out of this thing?
You think you had to ask?
Just making sure.
Oh.
This is a bad idea. Stand up.
I'm okay.
Wow. I just thought it was going to be a really tight seatbelt. I wasn't expecting like all King Midas like. That is a pretty bizarre contraption, I'm not going to lie.
I'm not leaving without my friend.
Yeah, that isn't really how it works. It's kind of a one-way sort of thing. It can't be undone.
I'm not leaving here without my friend. And if you aren't going to help me, could you maybe leave me alone so I can focus?
I know your mother was displeased with you recently. You walk out of here with that shield, and you're a hero, on your way to the greatest glory. She will be proud, and you will be forgiven, and all will go back to being as it always has been. Always will be, as it should be.
It isn't how it should be. Eat or be eaten. Power and glory and nothing else matters. Maybe I was that way once, but I don't want to be that way anymore. I won't be like all of you. I just won't.
Well said. Well said.
You're a good kid, Annabeth. I'll put in a good word with your mom for you.
Oh, what a cool little exchange. I like the way that played out. Again, I'm kind of like so invested in the story, I forgot to say anything during it. He better not say it's a different shield.
Where's our ride?
Nuh-uh.
You're kidding.
This thing is going to be at the Lotus Casino in Vegas. Hermes hangs out there. You play your cards right, and his personal driver can get you to LA in minutes.
He was holding something back.
Yep.
How do you know?
Because I think I got it out of him.
I know who stole the Master Bolt.
Okay. That kind of goes back to what I was saying is like, I think that a lot of people undervalue empathy. I can't remember where I read this. It was something that basically said like I don't know if it was my zodiac or what it was. When you walk into a room, everyone wants to basically open up to you and tell you what's going on. And it was so funny. We read that. And so I work at a school. Sure enough, the bell rings, class changes, a student comes in, and it's like me and another teacher. And the student comes in, and as soon as they sit down, they put down their bag, they turn in their chair and look at me and just tell me everything that was going wrong with their day. And I was like, wow. You should never really undervalue or underappreciate people with great empathy around you. I also like that they're getting, on that note, that they're getting in the back of a truck that's like, what was it, Kindness Industries? Nice. Well played. So this episode was really intriguing. Not just, like clearly for me, Ares was a standout, but that interaction between Grover and Ares was so unexpectedly good. I feel like Grover's had like just really good moments, really good performances. I feel like that's definitely true of Percy. I've really been waiting for those moments with Annabeth. So I keep saying Annabeth, but what I really mean is Leah's performance. And I thought she did outstanding right there at the end. That was such a meaningful dialogue to say, like, we're children of these gods, and the things that the gods expect of us is like really cyclical. You can make a god proud, but like Ares said, at what point do they just simply lose interest in you? At what point do you pass on and then the cycle repeats itself? I think there's an interesting thing even with Percy Jackson's personality about not wanting to fall into these traps of trying to vie for the favor of a parent who is divine. And so it's really cool that we just had a moment with Annabeth. It's not enough to just have glory and to have that to be a hero in the eyes of your parent. At some point you also just need to be a good person and do the right thing, not out of the expectation of what you'll receive for it, but simply just because that as a driving force makes your life have meaning. And you're living for yourself and not for others and what others can get out of you. And I think that's a really important message. I think that just like thematically, I really enjoyed that about this episode. But a lot of thoughts, and I can't wait to continue this. Whew. So a lot of thoughts, but I can't wait to continue this conversation with you down in the comments. So that's all for me for today. I'll see you in the next one. This is Noxiddar, out.